one of the biggest problems in the healthcare system is that the patients don't show up for their appointments with the doctors. And it's the doctors' times that are wasted because they are sitting around waiting for patients in the time that they could have money. Yeah, the solution, it's an online booking system. It's Medi Check-in. It's going to make it easier for patients and for doctors to communicate with each other, and their booking system is going to be much more flexible than it is now. It works the way that the doctors and the patients, they will be able to communicate, they will have their own timetables, and they will be able to get notifications, and we will show it in this video. If the patient is very sick, sometimes they don't want to call the doctor, so they can book a time by an app. They put in their CPR number and password. And if they don't want to travel very far, if they're sick, they can find a doctor by searching for their location. They can also search by name or specialty. We have a working prototype. They can easily see the calendar, and they will be able to book a time where it is available. Sometimes it takes a very long time before a time is available. But if an earlier time is cancelled, you will get a notification. The first one who accepts this offer to get an earlier time can then be able to go much earlier.
Right, we're looking at usability, and our customers is our doctors, so we've chosen to see how we could use it the best. Our app is really easy to use because of its simplicity, and it's really efficient, and that's what we need in our society. The design is quite familiar to other booking systems, such as flight systems, so it should be really easy to use, even for persons who aren't that good at technology. The good thing about ours is that we don't have telephone lines, which only you could call in a few hours. Our works 24 hours a day, so therefore you could always contact them. One of our huge problems was same-day cancellations, but now you could always book in on a time if you're another patient, so therefore there shouldn't be a lot. And now we live in the 21st century, therefore we have new technology, so therefore the doctors have to follow us. If you search for new doctors, well then you get new patients as a doctor and you can earn more money. There's a lot of this same-day consultations, so therefore you could save a lot of money, which they'll lose on just waiting for your patient if it didn't show up. It's easy to use, and it has a really simple design, so therefore everybody can use it, even persons who don't know very much. We've gone out and asked both patients and doctors what they think about ours, and 7 out of 9 would actually prefer our app instead of just call a secretary. 60% of those who we asked have actually forgotten or just not shown up to their appointment and not cancel it, so therefore there's a lot who don't show up, and it is a real problem. We've also asked doctors what their problems was, and they have problems about their administration and automatic rebooking. We want more flexibility, and that was also what the doctor wanted. They don't have to put in any effort because the patient does all of work, just rebooking. Yeah. We say that approximately a consultation would cost 350 crowns for the doctors. If you see, there's about 2 cancellations each day, would be 700,000 crowns. In a month, that would be 700 in a day. In a month, that would be $15,000, and if we, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Before we start the questions, can we just send the app around maybe?
That's right.
So the big problem with this is going to be the integration, because it needs to work with the existing systems. How much have you looked into that?
Actually, we're not going to sell it directly to the doctors. We're going to sell it to the big companies that the doctors already use for the different booking systems. That way it's not going to be the same problem integrating.
Have you spoken? It's still going to be a big challenge, but have you spoken to them? Are they interested in using it?
We haven't spoken to them, but we've spoken to a doctor, and he says that since the doctors they requested, we've spoken to one, we've spoken to several others. So that way, if the doctors are interested in it, we think the companies automatically are going to be interested in it too.
Because the customers are the doctor or the servers.
But what is actually your market? Is it the private doctors having a private practice, or is it the doctors at the hospital?
It's the general practicing doctors.
At private, not hospitals, because they won't pay for it with paper.
What gives the so if there's a couple of companies that are already sitting on the IT infrastructure to doctors, why wouldn't they just develop this app themselves?
Because there are a couple of companies which are sitting, so they have their own developed system. So we want to make it really easy, and we want to integrate with all the other systems, so to be really easy for the patients to log into the system and to get to the doctor. For them, it would be more difficult to communicate with one another because they are big and they are not flexible with us as a startup to develop an easy system to use.
One of the other things when you're booking an appointment with the doctor, they're asking what it is you're coming with, so the doctor is prepared and also know what time what time frame do you need. Have you been talking to the doctors about that? I mean, if you're going to get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or an hour?
Yes, we have talked, and usually they book around 30 minutes. They ask
20 to 30
to
minutes.
30 minutes per patient, and they don't care who shows up next.
What they care about is do they know what the patient's problem is, and do they have a patient? Because right now they don't know for sure if the patient's actually going to show up before they show up.
They're not going to know it with this. I mean, even if I have an app and join from an app, it's still not going to, if I'm not going to show up, I'm not going to show up.
It's going to show
Yeah.
it because it's automatic. When a new patient books the empty time slot, it's going to show up in the doctor's
But if I don't do
records.
anything, I still have booked my time and not going to show up.